Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to another Human Rights Commission meeting. Today is November 6, 2025, and it's currently 5:02 p.m. We are located at the City Council chambers, and I am calling the meeting to order. I'll start with roll call. Commissioner Karupich,
Here.
Commissioner Albert Techi,
Here.
Commissioner Shayla Johnson.
Here.
I would like to put on record that Commissioners Dr. Garcia, Commissioners Irby Jean-Baptiste, and Commissioner Victor Pelletieri are not currently in our meeting today. And of course, Vice Chair Shima Hosseini is also here. I would like to provide the opportunity to for our new commissioners to introduce themselves. I'll have Chief Maria Levita start off first. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, Chief Maria Levita. I'm with the Revere Police Department.
And Chief James Cullen.
Good evening, Chief James Cullen, recently appointed as the Chief of the Revere Fire Department.
I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Chief Levita and Chief Cullen for joining the Human Rights Commission. I can't wait till we see how we could build this relationship, especially with two of the most prominent municipalities in our city, and how we could build this to flourish into a beautiful relationship to make our city a more better place. But congratulations, everyone. Give a round of applause for our two chiefs. So moving on to our next part, we're gonna read the mission statement out loud. This is something that we do in our every meeting, just to reword, I guess, like to set the atmosphere for what the meeting is gonna be today. I would just like to make present that Dr. Garcia has joined us today. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Garcia. Right now, everyone should have their mission statement in front of them, and we'll read collectively. The mission of the Revere Human Rights Commission is to promote human and civil rights and empower all people of Revere by ensuring that everyone, especially the most vulnerable and marginalized, have equitable opportunities, equal access, and are treated with dignity, respect, fairness, and justice. Moving on to our land acknowledgement, this is something that we also do every meeting as well, is we are currently in the land of the Pawtucket. We encourage all Native and Indigenous peoples to our meetings and reach out to us as a resource, and we acknowledge and welcome all the Natives and Indigenous peoples that live in our city. For monthly acknowledgements, November is the Native American and Alaskan Heritage Month. It started November 1st. Day of the Dead, or Dia de las Muertes, was from November 1st, November 2nd, which is a Latina/Hispanic holiday that pays respects to those who have died. World Kindness Day is November 9th. Veterans Day is November 11th. World Kindness Day, November 13th. International Day of Tolerance is November 16th. International Students Day is November 17th. Transgender Day of Remembrance is November 20th. These are all the ones that are currently in our calendar, but some that I'm gonna add to the calendar that I think we should acknowledge is National Cancer Awareness Day is November 7th. World Children's Day is November 20th, and November is National Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month. For anyone in the commission, I also forgot to mention that Director Morabio also is here with us today, so my apologies for that. But is there anyone here today would like to mention some events and holidays that we should add to our calendar? Go ahead.
November is also Native American Heritage Month.
Or I believe I said that. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Awesome. So, I would like someone, oh, this is something that I forgot to do. I would like someone from the commission to, set a motion to approve the minutes from the October 2nd meeting, and someone to second.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. So moving on to our first main point of today's meeting is the statement regarding the recent events regarding ICE. So something that we've been working on, especially Director Morabito. I do want to give her credit is due. Director Morabito has been working with the solicitor's office to set out a public statement regarding some of the things or some of the changes and additions that have been going on regarding ICE, especially regarding in the city of Revere. And just to preface the statement that's in front of everyone right now, is that on Friday, October 3rd, was a nationwide operation that was launched that is called Freaky Friday, that targeted and still targets unaccompanied child immigrants who are 14 and older. And essentially, a letter will be sent out from ICE threatening the potential and transfer people who are already in detention or transferred to ICE at the age of 18 if they do not waive certain jurisdictions and withdraw from any request of relief, or especially including asking for support from the Executive Office of Immigration Review, or the EOIR. So I'll provide some more information so we could put that on our website in terms of what that is. But essentially, children are offered up to $2,500 to return to their country of origin if and this is what the actual operation states. If the child does not comply with whatever they're asking, the letter itself indicates that their family will be arrested and sent back sent back and potentially even detention, and potentially the threshold, the age of children who are targeted can be lowered down to 10 years of age, not even at 14, and that ICE will target those who are detained and then those who are detained and then released. And essentially, this is, especially since Revere is a heavily immigration or migrant population, it definitely targets a very prominent part of our city. So the statement that's in front of you essentially just lists out potential, just where people can get supports, the different names of the different organizations that can support these individuals. I'm gonna give everyone a brief moment to really just look at it and see what we could potentially add before we send it out and put it out as a public statement. And if we add something, we could send it by the solicitor's office so that everything is factual, everything is at a neutral ground, and that this is purely just an informational statement to provide resources for the communities that need it in our city. So I'll give everyone a moment, and if there's anything that we could add to the statement, I will definitely write that down so that we could provide that to the solicitor's office, and then we could put the statement as soon as possible. So, go ahead. Yes, Chief.
I do have one thing that may be useful to add. ICE has an online detainee locator system. You can find it online, so I can provide that website and information. It might be a good thing to add.
I didn't know that there was such a database. Can you provide more information what that database really entails?
Sure. It gives people the ability to go online and search for somebody to see if they have been arrested, detained by ICE. I don't know how often it is being updated. I believe it's supposed to be within 48 hours you can access information. So with the government shutdown, I don't know if that's being kept up or what, but theoretically, yes, somebody could go on there and get information.
Dr. Garcia?
Yeah, there's a major organization here in Massachusetts known by MITA. So that needs to be added to this list. Actually, they do a lot of educational campaign in schools throughout Massachusetts. They also offer legal services, and they also have a variety of resources and tools that schools and institutions can use to protect immigrant families. So that is a major one. I think we should add it to this. We bring them often to our schools. They talk to the families, that they provide resources. So it's a wonderful organization to add to this list.
Thank you very much, Dr. Garcia.
Yeah.
Anyone else from the commission? All right, so I've wrote those additions down. If there's anyone until the time where we actually put out this public statement has any additions that they don't really think about in this meeting, you could definitely just reach out to me, and I could definitely add those in with the help of Director Morabito and the Solicitor's Office. I also like to, I'm really grateful to the Solicitor's Office for helping Director Morabito create this public statement, and hopefully this allows a lot of people to have access to the resources that they needed if it applies to them. Yes, Dr. Garcia?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to number 8, I understand that this is something which is the solidarity with the people of Sudan. Since 2023, there was a civil war in Sudan due to the Sudanese National Army and the RSF, or the Rapid Support Forces, which is basically there's a civil war between the two. And over 400,000 people have died, definitely a lot more than that, and over 10 million people have been displaced, marking it one of humanity's biggest displacements recorded in history. There have been many attempts for humanitarian help that have, but those opportunities have been fruitless, and especially around a lot of the wealthier surrounding countries have actually been putting money for the civil war to keep on going, such as the United Arab Emirates. And the reason why I brought this up, especially regarding Revere, is that we have a Sudanese population as well, and many of them are potentially immigrants who have come for that civil war and are also not only worrying about what's going on in their home country, but also worrying about their status as an immigrant with ICE. So I do want to just take this time to I want to provide that solidarity for the people who are from Sudan in our city, but also I do want to have just a moment of silence, not only for the people of Sudan, but just all the humanitarian crises that are going on right now, the humanitarian in Yemen, in Ukraine that's still going, in Gaza, and in Gaza, and just even in locally, just like the fact that there are people in our communities who are very hurting for a variety of different things, and that I want to provide not only a moment of silence to acknowledge the fact that there is hurt, but I do want to let everyone know in the city of Revere that the Human Rights Commission is in solidarity with everyone, and that I just ask for not only from the commissioners, but also from the fellow people of Revere, just a simple prayer. You don't even have to be religious to do it, but not only for the Sudanese people, but for everyone that's hurting. So I just want to take a moment of silence. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. All the information that we talk about in our meetings, whether it be ICE, things are going on internationally, the local conflicts that we have between the different people in our city, and just like, I just want to know, like, spread the information about some of the things that we talk, about everything that we talk about in our meetings, mainly because awareness is the first step to action. So anything that you see that is, even regarding the public statement, whatever you think is information that people need to know about to support each other, spread that. Ignorance, or rather, arrogance is just a barrier that is easy to overcome while you provide that information. But the second step is just for people to listen, but the information has to be there first. So thank you very much for everyone who took their time out of their day to come to this meeting. I understand that it's a lot of me just talking, but I did want to bring this up only because these things haven't been talked about in the mainstream media as much as I believe we should talk about it. So that's why I wanted to bring it up now. For the update on the grants, so we have submitted the grant. For our commissioners, the grant that we're talking about is we submitted a grant proposal to the local cultural council through the Mass Cultural Council, where we are asking for money to be allocated to one of our projects that we decided to move forward with this with the fiscal year. And essentially the grant that the money that we asked for is to be allocated to a circle and community tour. Essentially, we go to the different wards, we host a circle, and basically we create conversations between us and the community to see what each community what each community needs and wants, and like essentially just have a more stronger relationship so that we know exactly how to address some of the issues that they have. I'll be 100% honest, the main person that could definitely emphasize this a lot more is the person who brought this up a long time ago, which is Commissioner Pitch. She's the one who really spearheaded that idea, so I do want to give her the space to really talk about it, just so you folks know exactly what we're planning on doing. So yes, I want to give the space to Commissioner Pitch.
Thank you, Chair Hosseini. Well, the goal is to really solicit information from the community and learning about the community and getting feedback, and they asking for information, what they want to see in our city, what are some of the pressing issue that they are facing, what are some of the challenges from different group of people within our city, and something they want to celebrate. So really gather those information, and this process has been, identified with many of our former commissioners as one of the need that we want to take on, so that we can have all the information from the community, and then we are more informed of what's have been going on, what the community needs are, so that we can also share that with the mayor as well. Why we working to supporting developing our city, and here are crucial information that we all should have.
Thank you, Commissioner Pitch. Based off everything we've talked about so far, even like previous agenda items, does anyone have any questions before we move on to our next agenda item? All right. I have a comment. Yes, go ahead, Dr. Garcia.
I think this is great. All leaders actually do that, and I'm very happy that finally we are opening up to these type of things, because listening and learning tours are important, because there are people out there that probably they want their voices to be heard, some of the concerns they may have. We can learn tons of things, and we can also give them, an opportunity to express what they are experiencing on a daily basis. Keep in mind that We have a city that's very diverse with many immigrants. They may have barriers of sorts of barriers. And obviously, if we do this with good intention and be there, spirit of being kind of humble and be willing to learn, we can certainly bring a lot of information back that can certainly help the mayor, help leaders in the city, learn about things that probably had not even imagined that we would learn from people. So I'm a big fan of storytelling, and those stories are important. And I think they may help the fire department, may help the police department, things that probably sometimes, as leaders, there are things that we operate under many assumptions, right? So we may have assumptions about people, and those assumptions might not be true. And by engaging in that type of a conversation and be authentic about it, I think they have a great deal of things that they can give us, and we can act on that. I think it's a great thing if we really do it well. So I applaud the initiative.
Thank you very much, Dr. Garcia. So based off what I understand of the grant, technically, we won't hear back until sometime in January. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Commissioner Johnson.
I'm just going to piggyback on Dr. Garcia. I think it's very important for us to listen to the new commissioners on what they see every day. They're in the city. They talk to the residents. They're around them, the homes, the calls that they make, and they can help us understand the things that do not make the nightly news or the paper, that where's the need at that we can focus on and have these conversations.
I think that starts, I wouldn't say a completely new conversation, but a side conversation because the way how we planned out the listening tour is it's going to be 6 circles done in the 6 wards of Revere, but I think we could always find a way to create new circling conversations even within the fire and police department as well, right? Have an opportunity so that when we are going to be making decisions or plans of how to add programs or change systems in the city, we actually have both sides of the conversation, both what the community says and both what, I guess, the forces of authority say as well, and that we actually have a full picture of what exactly goes on in our community. I think adding that, I wouldn't say it's too late to add it to our grant, but we could definitely find a way to start having those conversations with the respective organizations if your folks are definitely open to it. I don't know if everyone also agrees to add on to the 6 circles to also have one for the fire department, one for the police department, especially since they are more involved in the community in many ways that we are not. So what do you folks think about that?
I'm not saying to add on to the 6th circle. I just say using their info and knowledge of what they see to bring to our meetings, our circle meetings, talk to them on the side. What do you see? What are the things that they may not want to share that you witness, you see every day?
Having them have their dialogue more integrating in those conversations.
Yes.
Understood. All right. Yeah. So as we plan these meetings moving forward, especially if we do get the grant money, I do highly encourage not only you folks as commissioners, but people of your department to also potentially join those conversations. So definitely I can't wait till I see where the project is going to be going. But that's just all the updates in regards to the grant. I know that how the grant works is that it's more of a reimbursement system, meaning that we would have to spend money, and then eventually, if we were to get the grant money, technically it would be paid back to the Human Rights Commission. Am I correct, Director Morabito? Yeah. Awesome. And regarding that, I do want to take this time to start planning our first one, right? We do have $1,000 provided from the city of Revere for the Human Rights Commission. I think we should take some time, since it's really relatively early in our meeting, and we do have some time to really talk about that, to start planning for our first one. And obviously, our first one's gonna be in Ward 1. I believe you're kind of, we're going in the order of the wards, so Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 3, all the way to Ward 6. Yes, Director Morabito.
I have a suggestion, or more of an inquiry. Would you recommend, like, since we're doing each ward, would you recommend talking to one of the ward councilors of that, like, each ward this way? Because they can probably gather more people than we could in terms of outreach as well.
I think it's a fantastic idea. I think they should be one of the prominent people who are attending those meetings as well, so that they can see how they can help their respective wards. But what does everyone else think? Commissioner Pitch.
Thank you, Chair Hosseini. The goal is to collaborate with the counselors from each ward, like Director Morabito said, to gather information, to gather people, to invite people. And there is some instances that it's depend on who would like to work with us, right, which counselor. And if they don't work with us, then we'll go ahead and inviting people from that ward.
And if not, just to piggyback on what you're saying, and if they're not interested, what we can do is we can use our community liaisons to distribute flyers in the ward as well.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think that also saves, based off our prospective budgets. For the new commissioners, I will provide that budget as well to see anytime we're talking about it, this is what I'm referring to. I'll provide that right after the meeting so that you have that on record, and as well as the proposal as well, to see exactly what we're talking about. But I think that I totally agree. Like I mentioned, I do want to take this time to start planning for our first one. When would we like to have it? What would you like to start having them in the beginning of the new year? Where specific? I mean, we could definitely go into the nuances of the planning as we go to the next, as we go to our next meeting, so that we actually take the month to really research for each ward. But I want to start some brainstorming right now, just so we could get the wheels rolling. Commissioner Johnson.
I think we should start at the beginning of the year. Right now is a difficult time with benefits, the government's shut down. There's a lot going on for people. So the beginning of next year would work.
I want to suggest, in terms of just like a brief, I understand that I did mention that I do want to start some sort of rough brainstorming for the first one. But I want to be, if we are gonna start potentially promptly in the beginning of the year, I wanna see if there's any way that if each commissioner can take care of each ward, right? Do some research to find some potential places that we could do, and we'll have all these months, the rest of November, December, January, to have all those ideas thought out, so that in January we could actually start putting things into place. Commissioner Pitch?
I also would like to put together a one-page of what we're looking at and what we're looking for. It's like a clear message why we're doing this, like creating that one page. I can start with it, and then we'll share with all the commissioners to look at it. And then the first step, I would like to send those invitations, the one-page invitation to all the city councilors and councilors at large, and asking them to work with us if they're interested. So that would be the first step. We can start it now, developing that, creating that, and then we can plan on, it's like January, February, let's say within 3 months, we want to hit all of these wards and where we would like to do that, right? And then we can look at the involvement with the logistic, with food, with anything, and then also the circle keeper. And we're looking also, we need to have an auditor as well who capture all the information and audit all the information.
Yeah, we could definitely start on some sort, I believe you mean like a flyer, or is it like an actual like one-page informational document? I could definitely get that document started. Of course, everyone has to be working on it individually so that when it comes to the following meeting in December, that's when we could deliberate and make decisions about how to move forward in respect to open meeting laws. But I could definitely get that document started. Does everyone want to, I don't know if I need to make a motion for this, but I want to propose if, this is something that I said like about like 5 minutes ago, if each commissioner, if they have the time and availability to do it, to really focus on each ward and then do the research for each one. Like, I'll definitely do Ward 2 because I've been living in Ward 2. But if anyone wants to go with that idea, I just want to set a motion for that. Go ahead, Dr. Garcia.
So I don't know if, this would be a good plan or not, but, so I would propose, I know time is really an issue for all of us, but maybe organize a planning session, maybe 1 hour or 2 planning session just to plan for these type of things. Because letting people go on their own and developing, information on their own can be disjoint, and it might be incoherent. Because if the goal is really to study each award and see what's there, the characteristics of some of the problems they may have, I think we have to really probably go, maybe plan things properly, delineate the goals properly, and then just based on those, design or developing an action plan in terms of when we show up, what we really want to do, what we're trying to target, what we're trying to accomplish, things like that. It's just a suggestion. I don't know if letting the commissioners individually work on a particular thing could be a little bit disjoint. I think if, as a group, if you organize a planning session for us to really discuss and see what goes into the flyer and things like that, to me, it would be more effective. But just my suggestion. I go with whatever you guys, you think is more appropriate.
Go ahead. Thank you very much, Dr. Garcia, Director Morabito.
And I agree. Also, we have to keep into consideration the uniqueness of every ward. What may be concerns to residents of Ward 1 may not be a more pressing issue to people in Ward 6. So I guess the question is, how do we identify what's going to attract or appeal to those residents? And also, we have to keep in mind the districts have changed and the boundaries. So are we looking to have a location, a circle in a location that's central in the ward? I think there's just so many moving parts, and we really need to work it out together, because to have one person who's not familiar with like Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 3, because it's like a ward like 5 that starts at the Point of Pines and ends on the other side of Broadway, can be completely confusing. So when you have one person working on an informational piece for a ward, it may be difficult. The outreach I'm not worried about. It may be very time-consuming because we only have like 2 people in community outreach. So they basically be putting flyers in everyone's door, but we could use social media to get the word out. So I guess the outreach is what I'm concerned about, and how do we target the people in the community, and how do we make issues that are relevant to them? Because every ward is completely different.
Right. Thank you very much, Director Morabito. Commissioner Pitch?
I agree with Dr. Garcia, and I also mentioned this earlier, Chair Hosseini, that between 2 months, this month and next month, we can develop a one-page.
Yeah.
So that it's like a united front information from all the commissioners. And then after that, we can create a flyer. After that, we inviting all the city councilor, having conversation with city councilor and send invitation to them and explain to them why we want to do this so that they are clear when they share the information with their constituents. And Director Morabito, thank you so much for mentioning that. I think to get more from the community, we have to go to where they at. You know, it might be more important to be, let's say, in Ward 1 and where the central place for Ward 1 that people can have easy access to with parking, with, you know, childcare. We have to think about that. I know the money is not a lot, what we're receiving. And at the same time, if we want to have it available and encourage people to come, we should think about what childcare should look like, activity, transportation, and all of that. And then food also bring people together, right? My other question is, you know, like in terms of invitation and outreach, you know, we usually get like the census send it to us, you know, it's like all of that. It's like, can we send something from the city to the residents?
I believe you mean the weekly newsletter?
Yeah,
Something like that?
anything that can get to our residents.
I honestly don't have an answer. Typically, it would come out of the board's budget if they were setting out an informational, if they were sending out a mailer. I would have to get back to you on that. I don't want to speak on something that I may be incorrect on.
Thank you very much, Director Morabito. Thank you very much, Commissioner Pitch. Dr. Garcia?
No, I'm good.
Oh, sorry, it's because your mic is on. Wow. I do want to hear from the other commissioners. Commissioner Techi, Chiefs, do you have any thoughts and opinions about how we can move forward with this? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure, just me speaking from law enforcement, I don't know which way that would cut if I was to do outreach. I feel like, one, some people might be afraid to talk, and two, I might get a lot of parking complaints, speeding cars, and things like that, and that wouldn't necessarily come under the commission. So I just thought I'd mention it.
I mean, still, you do provide like very good point. Director Morabito?
I also want to say, as I'm not an official commissioner, but I act on it as a executive director, I can be that buddy system for everyone. So I'm willing to dedicate the time. So anyone who doesn't have sufficient information, I can provide them with information, help them with the outreach, help them with the connection to the counselor, and all of that.
Thank you. Go ahead, Commissioner Techi.
I really like the idea of getting the commissioners on board and trying to drive outreach through that if we can. I mean, if they're, or city councilor, sorry, commissioner, city councilor, whatever. If we can get them behind this, we could even plan it as we're doing a planning session and putting together our materials where we could just roll out a social media campaign for them that they could just post themselves. We write up everything. We could just tell them, this is when you post this is when you post that, this is our messaging. All we need you to do is show up, and we're gonna kind of take care of all the work for you. Just so we, we don't want to put too much on them. They're also volunteers, trying to do what they can for the city. And it keeps our message singular about what we're looking for, and hopefully get the same information that we're looking for out of these listening sessions if we could keep our invites and our messaging the same for every meeting. So I know a planning committee was brought up. I'd love to be a part of that, and jump on that and try to get the language right, so we could get who we're looking for to come out.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Techi. Commissioner Johnson?
2 questions. You mentioned renting. Are we renting a hall or trying to find some place to free for them to gather with $1,000 as a budget? How is that? And what's the plan on that?
So, I mean, that's what the planning is for, but in the grant itself, there is money allocated for renting out a space for each one of the wards collectively. So that is part of the budget that we asked for from the local cultural council. However, in terms of the logistics of how we're gonna do our first one with only $1,000, that's what the next couple of months is for, to plan out like the intricacies, or just especially like utilizing the resources that we already have, so that we don't need to necessarily spend the budget, right? We could potentially use the community liaison, social media, things that don't necessarily cost, well, community liaisons, they need to get paid, but in terms of social media outreach, you know, everyone, especially since we have a huge senior population, everyone's on Facebook, so we could utilize that as well, just to find ways that we don't need to necessarily spend out of our budget, that we already have at our disposal through City Hall and just our connections, especially through Director Morabito, so that we have enough money to allocate for everything else that we do need to have money for. So I guess moving on from this, I am gonna start a document I'm gonna share with everyone here, just so we could get that planning process started, and that somehow start working on it within the rest of the month, so that when we meet again in December, we have something to like go off of. And especially, you know, I understand that they're very busy, everyone has their own thing, but at your own time, throughout the entire month, whatever resources that you think, hey, we should think about this, we think about that, I'll have the document split into 6 different areas, so it could represent each ward, and then we could put down our ideas for each one. Does anyone have any questions or concerns regarding that? Director Morabito.
I just want to touch on a question that Commissioner Johnson asked about resources. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, were you just talking about locations, like the cost of holding a facility, like where we would have the circle? So one thing, we're lucky to have good neighbors, but also, for instance, we have like the community room in the police station. We have the new Point of Pines Fire Station in Ward 5. We also have apartment buildings and community rooms in those apartment buildings that we have good relationships with, that they may be willing to let us use their function room, or like VFWs or civic clubs in Ward 3. So that's where I'll step in as well. So I'm here to help 100 and 200%.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, community service, community halls, I know we have a few here. I did have another question.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I totally
That's all right.
forgot. I was like, go ahead. Mark.
On the, once the event actually does happen, with me being in Ward 4, would I conduct these circles alone, or will I have the commission with me? Or,
No, I could definitely speak. So I expect most people, go ahead.
I commit to buddying up with everyone.
all right.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Fitch. Yes.
The circle practice, people who are trained can host the circle. Not everybody can just host the circle. It's a very, well, kind of coordinated, even though we are the host. And at the same time, we have to look at, it's like, how do we take care of that whole circles and stuff? We can partner with each other as well. It's like I'm a circle practitioner. I've been doing this work for 15 years, hosting circles, from community building to healing to addressing harm to celebrations and all of that. So I think we should look for expertise as well. And no, you're not out yet. We're looking for expertise, and then we can also partner with that expertise. I know that in the grant, we also collaborate with the Visioning Bear Intertribal Coalition, so that she's an indigenous. She can also partner with us to host the circle. As long as we have one practitioner, we can also have another commissioner with the experts. So yeah, Dr. Garcia also practicing circle as well. Circle practitioner as well. So there are many of us here, and plus the Visioning Bear people that we should have in mind. Good question, though.
Yes.
Thank you.
So the way how the budget is allocated is that there's money for facilitator fees, and that's what the facilitator is for. So the person who is actually running the circle, but the what is it called? The circles that we're gonna have, inshallah, in each ward is not going to be a solo mission. What is it called? I expect at least 2 or 3 commissioners to be at each one, so that not everything falls onto one person. So it's going to be also one of those things where, so it's not going to be a solo mission. The plan is to have more than one commissioner be there, so that it's not all falling onto one person. Yes, Commissioner Pitch.
Chair Hosseini, I mentioned it earlier. I think it would be good to have a consistent, to have a person who consistently going to all the ward to capture information, to take notes, and then analyze, and also put all the audits together. So we have circle hosts, and then we need someone to take notes from each individual, from each board, from each circle.
I definitely agree with that. I think the logistics is that we do need to make sure we're taking people's permission to be like, okay, we're gonna not record, but we're taking notes on to what people are saying. Not necessarily record them, but if we are going to be noting and jotting things down about what people are saying in these circles, I think it's only just fair to have people. I don't know what the breakdown of how it works, but have some sort of waiver that says, oh yeah, I have you have the permission to take quotes from me or take pictures, and just like a media release type permission slip. I don't know if I know there's people here who have more experience with doing such a thing. So if anyone can speak on that, please do so, only because I'm not an expert. Yep, go ahead, Commissioner.
So normally what we do, it's like right now we're doing the circle listening, learning with survivors and staff and community. So what we do, the person who hosting the circle will host the circle, and the information I shared, it's not like we write with what each individual said per se, but they're gonna capture all of okay, what are the current challenges? And then they take all of that, and then they will look, okay, let's say housing need, right? 10 people might say housing need, then they will say housing need 10 people. Some other challenges. So we need somebody who is skilled. Normally, we work with the researcher. We don't have to go through that extreme, but someone who have experience gathering information. I know, Dr. Garcia, you are a researcher. You can speak eloquently to this. Someone who have experience, taking information and then put it back out, if it make any sense.
Are you envisioning a master report or document to be produced from all these meetings? Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah, I like that idea. And then present it to city council or the mayor
To the
or whatever.
community,
Yeah, to the
yeah.
community in general, post it wherever, so it's community information.
Right.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Pitch and Commissioner Techi. Any other comments regarding this? I've written that down. We could definitely have that in our planning. I believe in our planning document that we're going to be working on in the next couple of months. Of course, we don't need to find someone at this current moment, but over time, we'll definitely find ways to fill in the gaps of where fill in the gaps in our plan, so that by the time we do get to the new year, we have everything solidified and there are no holes for us to really worry about. Before moving on to our next agenda item, does anyone have anything else to add? Any questions, comments, concerns? Awesome. The next agenda item is a meeting with the Revere High School student. So to preface this, in the beginning of the month of October, Dr. Garcia and I had a small conversation about how can we get involvement with some of the students in the city, and he presented me a very, very amazing high school student who is the person who runs the welcoming committee at Revere High School, and I did set this meeting up especially. So thank you very much, Dr. Garcia, for giving me the opportunity to do that. And I had some of the commissioners. I had Vice Chair Irby Jean-Baptiste and Commissioner Techi to really talk with the student. And I do want to give space to Albert, just to provide just like things that you folks discussed in that meeting. What would the student like to do, especially in collaboration with the commission, things of that sort. So I want to give you that space. Go ahead.
So the meeting was probably about 2 weeks ago. It was with actually the staff advisor, Lino Paulo Cabral, for the Welcome Club. Just a little background on what the Welcome Club is. They're about 20 students at Revere High School. Their main focus is to help integrate new students to the community of the school. They pair one-on-one the new student with a current student based off of cultural background, language, and just help them integrate into the school and the city, whether it's show them how to get around the school quickly, or it sounds like last year they started an initiative doing travel training, how to use the buses to get to school and get to school on time. It sounds like it's basically student-run, a group of great students that put together all the initiatives and generate all the ideas of how to support the community from their own. It was brought up, the idea, have they reached out to the student population and got more ideas? And is there like an avenue to kind of piggyback off their work? They don't right now. They kind of come up with all the ideas themselves, and it sounds like a pretty diverse group of students too. So there's a lot of different ideas that get generated just from the 20 students as it is. They're willing to expand their scope in the way that they help out the community. And from what Mr. Paulo Cabral explained, they're energetic and they are willing to jump in and help out any ways that they can. There's some ideas that we came up with that can help them support us and we could support them in their mission is, like, they could attend any meeting. They're open meetings. They just have to show up. Their voice is here. Anyone's welcome. Possible meet and greet before one of our meetings where they, they come out 4:30, 4 o'clock, whatever, and we just kind of sit with the students, get to know them a little bit better, let them know what we do. I offered, and I don't know if anyone else, I offered to attend one of their meetings at school, and, tell them what they do and, help get more involved, just like make that connection a little bit better. So there's a liaison from us to go to their meetings. And, as we're talking about everything that we might need for the circles that we're putting together, they're willing to volunteer in everything. What Lino said was, just let us know where and when, and he could let the students know, and we could just try to figure out a way to get students there. I mean, most of them don't drive, so it's just trying to help them figure out how to get there, how to get home, and they seem willing to jump in any way possible.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Techi, for taking the time out of your day for meeting with Mr. Cabral. And I think some of the ideas they presented are very, very great first steps to really building that connection with the students. I think a meet and greet is awesome, especially if we do it right before our monthly meetings, so that it's kind of like a dedicated 2-hour-ish meeting where we first start with the students. Once they got out of school, we meet them potentially even over here, and then once we're done, they could stay and watch our meetings together, and they have the opportunity to even speak on some of the things that we're going to be talking about for the agenda. So I think it's a great idea. Anyone else has any? Yep, go ahead, Dr. Garcia.
I just want to thank you for meeting with them. Lino Cabral is he's a driving force behind this movement of kids that we created at the high school. These are kids, by the way, this club was founded by students. So they took upon this initiative because certainly they noticed that a lot of our immigrant children, ELL population, they do come and they kind of feel sense of lost in a huge high school like Riviera High School and the middle schools as well. So they took upon themselves to create something like that and welcome new kids. It was a student-centered initiative. That's what we want in our schools. And they started at the high school. Now they are in all middle schools. Now they're trying to go to elementary schools as well. So it's great to see students exercising leadership and taking responsibilities. And I personally have taken them to Boston. They participated in a conference in Boston. Lino is an immigrant himself, so it's a call very close to him. So I'm glad we involving them in the process. Here we're talking about listening and learning tours. Why not engaging them in that so they can potentially help us take some notes, help us with the process, with the planning and things like that. So these are all things that we're doing to support students, and they really have certainly have contributed to fostering a climate that's very inclusive, very supportive, amongst students, and also it's a great thing to see. That's what I can say.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Commissioner Pitch.
Chair Hosseini, beside having them helping with the circles in different wards, I am wondering, because I would love to have their voice in this audit as well. Is it possible, Dr. Garcia, we can work with Lino to coordinate like a couple of circles with probably high school students to get some information from them as well about their experiences in the community?
they're there for a reason, so Lynn would love that.
Yeah, I think this is something that was brought up, I believe, sometime last year, where one of the, I believe Revere High Revere High teachers reached out to us. I believe it was the history teacher, American history teacher. I'm not 100% sure. I definitely need to double check, and I'll correct myself on that once I do. But I think the welcoming community is the perfect, is the perfect entity to use that to really get involved, especially with the high school students. And that, since it's going to be in a localized area, which is the Revere High School, I think it would be somewhat easier to plan out compared to the bigger circles that we're planning on doing. Obviously, I'll definitely add that to our document of the different ward circles that we're planning on doing. I'll have that as a separate section for like, okay, here are some circles that we just want to do specifically with the students, and things like that, so that we could get that more, because I feel like it's going to be a lot more straightforward than the bigger circles that we're planning on doing. Especially with the help with Dr. Garcia and the rest of the student organizations. So I think that's a great, it's something that we have talked about sometime in the past, where I feel like it's finally coming to fruition. So I'm glad that you did bring that up. Any other commissions would like to present anything? All right. So like I mentioned, I'm gonna add that all into the document, so everything we've talked about today will be in the minutes, so that you'll have that for record, but it'll also share with everyone a separate document so that we can start planning everything out. Commissioner Pitch?
Can I move to the question? Thank you. No. Before I forget, I also want us to visit the Revere history that former Commissioner McGee put together, and I do not want it to get lost in the shuffle. So if we can also continue that project, and if we can have a committee who can help shape that and work on that and finishing that up, that will be great, because it's such a great project, and she started it, and she gathered a lot of information. She interviewed many people from the community. So it doesn't have to happen today or have conversation today, maybe for next month to bring that back.
Yes, so because of all the different things that we're planning on doing for the new year, I've already started planning out a different set of focus groups. I know that we've created different focus groups, like the community events focus group and all the other focus groups that we've done before. I'm actually planning on going back and revising those groups, and then I guess reforming them to fit the projects that we're currently working on right now. Only because we haven't been, I'll be quite honest, we haven't been really focused on those focus groups for a really long time. So I think it's good to, scratch off and start anew with what projects that we have now. So that is something that I plan on bringing up in the following meeting, where I actually itemize those specific groups. I don't have any names for the groups just yet, but that's something that I'm going to present in the following meeting, and then we could determine who wants to be part of what group, so that not everyone in the commission is involved in one thing. We have different people doing different things, and then we all come together every meeting to really talk about that. So yes, that is already in the works, so thank you very much for bringing that up, Commissioner Pitch. So we'll definitely have that sorted out in December. Any other questions, comments, concerns? All right. And then I do want to echo Dr. Garcia. Thank you very much, Commissioner Techi, for taking time out of your day for really speaking with Mr. Cabral. It definitely spearheaded a conversation that we couldn't wait to have, and now we finally had the chance to do so. So yes, and I can't wait till I see all the plans that we're doing come to fruition, inshallah. Lastly, we do have an open forum now, so we could discuss of whatever you folks would like to discuss on, things that we haven't talked about before, things that you would like to bring up again that I really haven't mentioned in this meeting. Yeah, I'll leave it open. All right. Awesome. I'll just say something. I'm in the process of, I know Commissioner Johnson had brought it up in the previous meeting regarding establishing a relationship with the senior population, especially regarding the senior center. So I'm in the middle of creating an email thread between with me and you and whoever else would like to join. Obviously, we can make that decision when it comes to December, when there's a group specifically for, creating conversations with the seniors. But I am working on an email to reach out to the senior community to really talk about how can we start having conversations with the seniors, how can we start getting involved with the seniors, only because that's something that was highly talked about in the previous meetings, and I want to be one of the people to also spearhead that, only because I would like to be part of that project as well. So just be on the lookout. If anyone else is interested in being part of that email thread with getting involvement with the seniors, just let me know. I'll add that in. Of course, within the standards of the open meeting laws, I can't have too many people within that conversation, but whatever is done, just like with Commissioner Techi, whatever is done in that meeting will just be brought up in our main meeting so that everyone can share that information. So just be on the lookout for that.
That'd be great, thank you.
Yep, thank you. Yes, Director Morabito.
Just one suggestion, I would recommend contacting Deb Pesca, who is in charge of Elder Affairs. She could probably connect you with the seniors, especially where they have daily lunches as well. She could probably help organize something as well.
Yes, can you provide me their name?
Absolutely, I'll email you it.
Oh, awesome, thank you very much. All right, like I said, it's open meeting. Commissioner Pitch?
I would like to also to bring the voice to connect with LGBTQIA+ community and also people with disability as well. It's important. I feel it's important for us to connect and support, and then to also bring their voice to the room.
Yeah, so in terms of creating those conversations, we definitely have the Disability Commission, right? We could definitely have conversations on that. I know, I believe Ralph is still on there, so we could definitely have conversations with him. In terms of the LGBTQ community, if there's anyone that you folks know within the city that we could definitely talk to that is a prominent member of that group that and actively does things in Revere that we could collaborate with, just provide that information to me through the email, and then I could get those conversations started with whoever wants to be part of that conversation. Just so, and like I mentioned, not too many people in email because we don't want to break open meeting laws, but I could start that email thread so that when it comes to our December meeting, if anything does happen with those prospective groups, we can definitely talk about it. So let me know if you have people in the city who are prominent members of those communities, or people who we could ask for support and collaborate with. Just let me know and we could get that conversation started. Awesome. All right, well, if no one has anything else to say, I think we had a great meeting today. Thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time out of your day for meeting, for joining us in today's meeting. Everyone who's watching, thank you very much for taking your time out of your days to watch us. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Apparently we don't